Hello and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Today, we will return to planet, or even not a planet. We are going to the moon.
Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
And you might ask, why would we go to the moon? We already been to the moon. We've done everything on the moon. No, we didn't done everything. We still have a lot of tasty science which we can easily grab by doing so-called biome hopping. What that means is that we are going to land and then use scientific equipment, then go to another biome, repeat and repeat and repeat until we have fuel, and then we'll return home. So, without further ado, we are already almost in the orbit. Actually, we are in orbit, but it is slightly decaying, so we just need to circularize, and we are almost there. All we have to do now is create our maneuver node and go to the moon. Simple as pi. As in number pi. And while we are traveling, let's talk about something maybe interesting. For example, we can continue our topic of energy technology and ideas which are being developed in the modern world to combat the energy shortages which we currently don't have but might face in the near future. Considering that we totally rely on our fossil fuels, and fossil fuels are finite resource, and that means that they will end someday in some hopefully not so near future. We might face the problem that there will be no way to produce enough electricity for all of us, and that might lead to bad things. The most common idea is that, of course, being humans, we will start a war, and we will fight over the leftover resources, maybe even using atomic weapons and doing all the bad things which will lead to not so good version of future, definitely not the one we've seen in Fallout games. Because Fallout games, although post-apocalyptic, are not that bad. To start with, we will not have any kind of fallout shelters which will be able to house thousands of humans for many years, and where they will be able to sit safely and wait until radiation is not a problem, and then they can go back to the surface. Although such fallout shelters were at some point made in different countries, namely in USA, but of course not on the scale depicted in Fallout games. Or, well, some of them are definitely bigger than others. For example, American NORAD facility in Cheyenne Mountain is definitely big enough to house a lot of people. Too bad its function is not exactly that. The NORAD facility in Cheyenne Mountain is purely for government and probably military. So, no. Don't even expect to hide there. Of course, if you believe in science fiction, then under Cheyenne Mountain they have Stargate, and we will be able to escape to another planet, galaxy, or maybe even a universe. Of course, it's also kind of unrealistic to believe that such thing will happen, because, as we all remember, Stargate was fairly small. And we also touched the topic that maybe we can escape to another universe. Is this really possible? Can we move to another world which is just like ours, but a bit different? At the moment, we don't know. To be precise, at the moment we don't even know that other universes exist. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And if they do exist, in which form do they exist? Do they look similar? Or maybe they are completely different. Maybe laws of physics in alternative universe will be so different so that humans or any kind of life as we know it might not exist. It all depends purely on how do we interpret the various theories on physics. For example, one of the theories suggests that at each and every point when two or more outcomes of some actions are possible, the new universe is created. So imagine, flip a coin, and depending on the result, there will be two universes. In one universe, you will get heads, in another tails. And considering that at every moment there are so many variables and so many things happening that possibly change everything around us, the number of universes must be infinite. There is a universe where you are President of the United States, and there is a universe where we do not exist, where humans haven't evolved on planet Earth, or maybe destroyed each other, or maybe died to some kind of catastrophe like Black Death or supervolcano eruption or any other kind of thing that can happen. And this might be negative thing to think about it, or on the other hand it can be very positive. You can always think that in some other universe you are much better than you're in the current universe. Maybe you're a rock star. Maybe you always wanted it to be. Or some other thing. You can always think that somewhere someone just like you is having a time of his life. Speaking of someone just like you, theoretically, if we think that universe is infinite, which it might be or might not be, then if we travel in one direction long enough, at some point we will meet exact copies of the places we've seen. At some point, by pure luck, the atoms in space will create exactly same structures as we see right now around us. And honestly, I don't remember the exact distance but some scientists already calculated this, and yeah, it is a big distance, more than a couple of Hubble volumes, but we can calculate it. The only question remaining is if universe is actually infinite or finite. Does the universe have an end? Or does it not? Will it continue to stretch forward and forward ahead of us? Or is there an end? And if there is an end, does it actually end? Or maybe the universe is like a ball, but instead of having 2D walls or surface, it is actually a 3D space. If it is, then theoretically, again, by traveling the same way, we will eventually return to the same point where we began. Just many years in future. That's a very interesting idea. But at the moment, unfortunately, we have to stop talking about those interesting things and concentrate on our returning craft. We hopped around 3 or 4 biomes and gathered all the possible signs there. So let's see. Wow, 2200 signs by simply going to the moon and not even doing everything on the moon. That makes me wonder if it is actually possible to complete the whole science tree by simply going to the moon. Maybe if we were able to go around all the biomes, we would be able to get enough science to fill all the tree from start to end. Of course, it would require all the scientific equipment, which is not available in the beginning of the game, so it will not be possible to do in one launch, but maybe in 2. I know for a fact that it is possible to fill the scientific tree in 2 launches, but the second launch is not directed to the moon, it is directed to other planets further away. Maybe in the next season we are going to try to do exactly that and fill up the scientific tree as fast as we can. But that will happen later. For now, we have to end this episode. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like, dislike and comment this video in the section below. My name is Darlock and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.